Excuse me out there.
Yes?
Um, is it okay if I ask you some questions?
Yes, sure.
This is for our history project, and I'm going to ask you about how bad Aguinaldo was before during his presidency.
He was bad president because Emilio Aguinaldo never waved the flag of the Philippines during the proclamation of independence. Actually, it was Jose Rizal's distant relative, the lawyer named Ambrosio Bautista, who read the act of Declaration of Independence in the late afternoon in front of open window. Also, while it was Aguinaldo who unfurled the flag, it was Bautista who ended up waving in the front of jubilant crowd.
If you could give another points about how Aguinaldo was, how bad Aguinaldo was before, please just give us more points.
Okay. One of the points I'm going to give, he engaged in political mudsliding against Manuel Alquiza. After Aguinaldo was captured and swore allegiance to the Americans, he retired from public life and concentrated mostly on the welfare of his veterans. However, sometime in 1920s, he again found himself in public spotlight. After openly feuding with Manuel Alquizon, who had once served as his staff, their political rivalry became regular staple for the newspapers. Aguinaldo expelled Quizon from the Veterans Association he created. That's all.
Alright. Thank you so much.
Excuse me, Sir Ivan.
Yes.
This is our project for the history class. Can you give us some points about how bad was Aguinaldo?
He was bad. The fact that he could save Bonifacio's life, but he did not, because he was kind of a bit greedy about his power. And what I'd like to point out here was that Aguinaldo had the power to stop his rival's execution. To his credit, he initially did commute Bonifacio and his brother Procopio death sentence to banish them. However, his war council and associates persuaded him to carry out the execution. It was a very, very terrible event, and he was a powerful man. He could have done everything. He could have saved everyone's lives, but because of his greediness, love of his position, power, he didn't do that much. He didn't save anybody. So which he claimed to that the Bonifacio's alive would be to endanger Aguinaldo's life and the integrity of the revolution.
Thank you, sir. Give me some more points how Aguinaldo was bad.
Yeah, sure. I believe Emilio Aguinaldo was a terrible man because he almost break the Katipunan. There were just two groups, Magdiwang and Magdalo, and then Magdiwang was in Manila, that's like held by Andres Bonifacio, and then in Cavite, it's held by Emilio Aguinaldo. And then both groups had this friction to each other. So the groups can't really understand each other, and they almost had a duel and almost killed each other in a duel. And Aguinaldo and Bonifacio almost fought each other. The fact that some point the discussion became heated up, and both parties left the house to engage in a shouting match under a large tree. The confrontation nearly turned deadly when the men drew their pistols at each other. Fortunately, no blood was shed as General Santiago Alvarez managed to calm them down. So I believe that Aguinaldo was a bad person because he just wants power. He wants to be the only leader in that revolution war.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me. Hi. Do you mind if I ask you some questions about how bad Aguinaldo was during his presidency?
Okay. Aguinaldo was bad, I think, because he did not investigate the alleged rape of Bonifacio's wife. One of the lesser-known controversies surrounding Aguinaldo-Bonifacio rivalry concerns that of the alleged rape of Gregoria de Jesus by Aguinaldo's men, shortly after they captured her husband. Although de Jesus herself never categorically said that she was raped, maybe Aguinaldo's men will kill her if she will say that she was raped. But General Mariano Noriel asked Aguinaldo to investigate the incident. Unfortunately for De Jesus, Aguinaldo never investigated nor punished the offending officers.
Alright. Ms. Shahana Sazona, is it okay if you elaborate your points and add some points about your thoughts about Mr. Aguinaldo?
Okay. He actually confessed in the letter, this is according to my research, he actually confessed in the letter to having ordered Bonifacio's execution. To be surprising to know for some that while Aguinaldo denied having anything to do with Luna's murder until his dying day, which clearly we all know I think that Aguinaldo killed Luna. But in Bonifacio's case, he readily confessed to having ordered Bonifacio's execution. On March 22, 1948, Aguinaldo released a letter saying he was indeed one who ordered execution of Bonifacio and his brother Procopio.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sazona. Excuse me. Do you mind if I ask you some questions about Aguinaldo during his presidency? Do you think that Mr. Emilio Aguinaldo was a bad president?
I think he is. Because as we have observed in the movie of General Luna, he let Luna's killer go unpunished. Then, as Bonifacio's execution, we won't discuss the controversy involving whether or not Aguinaldo ordered the death of Antonio Luna. Instead, we will focus on the aftermath, specifically the fact that not one of Luna's killers was ever punished for the crime of killing him. Instead, a commission designated by Aguinaldo cleared the killers and himself from any culpability. The commission report blamed Luna for openly insulting the guards and officers stationed to protect the president's house. Then, incidentally, Aguinaldo also had all Luna's men disarmed and his officers was arrested, tortured, or even killed in order to suppress any revolts by decree by the deceased general troops. That's all I think. So he let killers of Luna go unpunished. I think that's the one point.
Do you mind if I ask you one more question about how bad Mr. Aguinaldo was during his presidency? Will you please elaborate about his mistakes and flaws during his presidency?
Okay, I think I still have one point why Aguinaldo is still a bad person. I think he might be the root for the political war in the Philippines, because despite being a leader or during that time, Aguinaldo outmaneuvered Andres to be the effectively or overthrow him or become the leader of the Katipunan. And I think he wants Bonifacio to be out or died or somewhere, because I think he wants to be the ruler or leader of both the Philippines and also the revolution against those invaders in the Philippines.
All right. Thank you so much.
Excuse me, can I ask you some questions or give me some points why Aguinaldo is a bad person or a bad leader?
He is a traitor while in Katipunan. He was the parasite that slowly ate the integrity of the organization by making few treachery attempts, ranging from declaring his own government inside Katipunan itself to not aiding Bonifacio's half in the battle.
So that's all. Okay, thank you. So can you give me some more points why Aguinaldo is a bad leader or a bad president during his time?
He led the Americans to colonize the Philippines. His return to Philippines through Admiral Lewis helped give the Spanish reasons to sell the Philippines to the Americans. Then this gave the Americans a foothold and leverage to start the flames of their colonization. That's all.
Okay, so thank you. Hello, can I ask you some points or give me some points why Aguinaldo is a bad person or a bad leader?
All I know is he was the first Japanese collaborator, kasi because during World War II, Aguinaldo quickly cemented his reputation as the first Filipino quisling or traitor. After he called on General Douglas MacArthur, whose father he once fought, to surrender for the duration of the Japanese occupation, Aguinaldo made public appearances and speeches on behalf of the enemy.
Okay, thank you.
In fairness to him, he later claimed that he only collaborated with the Japanese because he didn't want his countrymen, or especially the youth, to suffer or die needlessly.
Okay, thank you. So, can you give me some more points or cues that can say that Aguinaldo is still a bad person or a bad leader?
The book says na he surrendered the Philippines to the Japanese because he cooperated daw with the Japanese by making speeches in favor for the Japanese people. In one speech, he asked General Douglas MacArthur to surrender to the Japanese people.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So, hi sir, can I ask you something about Aguinaldo? Is he a good leader or a bad person during his time?
For me, he was a bad person because he ignored Luna's advice for guerrilla warfare only to use it at the end. 2 months before the Philippine-American War broke out, Antonio Luna had proposed turning the Philippine Army into a guerrilla force because he knew that the Filipinos had no chance against the better armed Americans in open set peace battles. So On the other hand, by resorting to protracted guerrilla warfare, he believed that the Filipinos could wear out the enemy long enough to convince the American public to recall their soldiers back home. Luna even enlisted the help of Apolinario Mabini to try and convince Aguinaldo. However, the latter rejected Luna's proposal because he thought that a sovereign nation should fight a conventional war. 4 months later, and just as Luna had predicted, the Americans annihilated countless Filipinos in conventional warfare, consequently forcing Aguinaldo to order his men to resort to guerrilla warfare tactics.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Can you give me some more ideas or points that saying na Aguinaldo is still a bad person?
He incited a conflict between the Philippines and America. His ruling by decree grew out the conflict with the American military situation.
Okay, thank you.